This is Arvin Vora, founder of Vora Method and author of How to Get into an Ivy League College. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can use the Holy Trinity to show disproportionate passion. So just to review, how do you show disproportionate passion? First, you need to make sure that your passion is on something where you can have more passion than the average person. So if you're talking about something like, space mining or machine learning or any of the things that like 99% of guys like to talk about for their college essays these days, it's going to be hard to get to that level because the default level is so high. To get higher than where people already are is going to be kind of tricky. Not to say that it can't be done, just know it's going to be a harder task. When people have a lot of passion in something, you'll notice that they'll have a lot of opinions and insights about that thing. So for example, if you watch somebody who's really into a particular sport or watch a sporting event, they're going to tell you a lot about the details of that particular event, like what decision the coach should have made, why he should have used this player for the first half instead of for the second half, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to get a lot of opinions. But people who are really into something will not just have opinions, they'll actually go one step further. They'll have clever insights about that thing. Not because they're clever, but because if you spend enough time thinking about a thing, you're going to end up with some opinions and ideas about it. So remember our Holy Trinity. We have analogical reasoning, we have categorical reasoning, and we have disagreeing and reversing. And so in this situation, I'm going to show you how you can use each of those to show passion. Now, the goal here is I'm going to pretend that I'm somebody who wants to pretend to be passionate about being a mime. So we're going to go through each of these and show how each of these can show passion. So we'll first do analogical reasoning. Pantomime is a lot like playing video games. When you play a video game, even an intense one, your face may be totally emotionless. The emotional energy leaves your face and goes into your fingers. In pantomime, the voice leaves your vocal cords and flows through the rest of your body. So here we've again drawn an analogy between pantomime and video games. Again, how did we pick that? Well, if you want to know how I actually picked that, I just made a list of things that were really, really far away from miming. I just randomly picked video games, and then I found some kind of way to connect it. When we're doing these, it's not that I do something different from what you do. I might do it faster, but it's basically the same thing. If you want to do analogical reasoning, if you can start with whatever you can have a starting point and then pick something very, very far away, or just pick two nouns that are very far apart. Doing analogical reasoning with two things that are close to each other is really difficult. I wouldn't do analogical reasoning with like pantomime and modern dance. It would take me a long time to figure out something intelligent to say there. Here's how you can use a categorical reasoning. What are we going to do? I'm going to now find something that's very close to mime. In this case, acting. So I'm going to do categorical reasoning to show the differences. Now remember, the point here is not just to show up the categorical reasoning. That's just the distraction thing. The real point here is to show that I'm passionate about miming. And by doing these advanced reasonings with respect to miming, I'm convincing the reader beyond any question that I'm really interested in being a pantomime. So, categorical reasoning. Being a mime is not like being an actor. An actor has to represent somebody that could exist. A mime has to represent somebody that cannot exist as a person. Take away the voice, and you have the intelligence of a human, but not the standard problem-solving responses. Humans, after all, aren't silent and smiling when stuck inside glass boxes. So what do we do here? We just pick something very close. Now, if I want to pick something different, I could have picked dance. I could have picked something that was like very, very close to pantomiming. Or if I wanted to be even more precise, I could say like, being a mime in this type of environment versus being a mime in this other type of environment are two totally different things. Like, being a mime like on the street versus being a mime on the corner of the street are two totally different experiences. Or being a mime in a park versus being a mime on stage. Yeah, you might want to find some like really big differences. But the point is you find something close and you extend it, and this sort of subconsciously and cleverly sneaks in this idea that you are passionate about miming. The goal here is showing passion, right? We're using the Holy Trinity to show passion, not just to show intelligence. It might also show cleverness, but the secret goal here is to show passion. Let's do that now with disagreeing or reversing. So here's disagreeing and reversing. Mimes aren't defined by silence. Mimes are defined by movement. Movement is their language, a primal language far more universal than mathematics or music. So what did I do here? I took the most obvious thing about mimes, which is they don't talk, and said, like, that's not what miming is about. And it's reversing. Remember, you just take any standard view and either cleverly flip it around or just flat out disagree with it. It'll work, because then you have to have something reasonably intelligent to say after that. All of these will show passion. So if you're trying to convince, let's say you have some focal point activity and you want to convince the audience that you're actually passionate about it, but you can use one of the Holy Trinity things to actually convince the audience beyond any question that you're passionate about those things. Because if you weren't passionate about them, you wouldn't spend enough time thinking about these things to come up with these sort of intellectual discoveries. Remember, the audience doesn't know that you know tricks on how to like come up with these right quick. They don't know that you can come up with these in a day or two. Usually, organically, people will discover these things after years of doing something. So it would not be within their wildest dreams that you could have come up with these things in 1 or 2 days or a week or whatever. So because you've made these connections, you have sort of shown them beyond any shadow of a doubt that you are passionate. Now, let's say we didn't use this. Let's say we just try to say I'm passionate. I'm really, really passionate about miming. I really love it. It's like so moving to me. It's so exciting. Does that show a millionth as much passion as any of these things that show the clever reasoning that came out of your passion? Of course not. This kind of reasoning proves passion beyond a shadow of a doubt. Just saying that you're passionate doesn't convince anyone of anything at all.